We've come out fossil hunting today to have a look down on a beach which hopefully should contain quite a lot of fossils. We're having a bit of an adventurous trek down to where we're going to be fossil hunting today.
Throughout the video we're going to be showing you lots of fossil content, some fossil preparation back in the workshop.
Should be a really good day. Let's get started.
We'll see you on the beach. For a change, we thought we'd walk through the woods, which we haven't done in quite some time. And as we've been walking along, we actually spotted a deer running through the trees, which was a nice little sight. We're just coming up to an opening up here. Got a lovely view of the sea from up here as well. It's one of our favourite walks to get to the beach. There you go.
Thank you. It's looking like a really good day for it.
Yeah, it should be nice. I know at the weekend there's actually meant to be a storm, so perhaps if the conditions are favourable, we might head out then as well. Like with most beaches in the area, we're typically expecting to find plenty of ammonites on today's hunt, but fingers crossed today we want to find some of that very elusive marine reptile. It's not uncommon to find Ichthyosaur bones, Gyrosteus, which is fish bone, and also some marine crocodile too. So let's make our way onto the beach and let's see what we can find. Right, down we go. Right, there was plenty of water coming down the waterfall just then, wasn't there? What a lovely day. We're down on the beach now and we've noticed that a lot of the sand has actually stripped away. So what we're going to do is actually go into this bottom trough where all of the pebbles are, and we're going to see if any fossils have washed out into this bottom section. So let's have a little search and see if we can find anything. And there's lots of shale, lots of limestone, but we're specifically looking for nice round nodules which could contain something.
There's loads of pebbles that have been here for ages. There's also quite a few that look relatively fresh.
Been a nodule here which someone has split open. It's got a nice iron pyrite coating all the way around the edge, but this particular example has already been split. Someone's already checked it and it's been empty. Just set that one down, but what I've noticed in doing so, there's actually an ammonite inside a nodule just here.
Let's have a look.
So you can see there's a perfectly complete Dactyliosauris ammonite inside this limestone nodule. We even got a little partial bivalve shell just here as well. It's pretty cool. We've only just come down onto the beach as well and we found one within 5 minutes.
Looks like a really lovely example too. I'm going to be keeping my eyes peeled, seeing what I can find. Could be the find of a lifetime, just sat anywhere amongst any of these pebbles. It's a pretty big flattened ammonite here. Pretty large Elegantissarus ammonite. It's really crushed though. It's got a 3D outer chamber, and then this piece is completely flattened. Shay, found a flattened Elegantissarus there.
Oh nice, let's have a look. Oh wow, that's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can see there the outer whorl's nicely 3D, but the inside, like with most of these particular ammonites, are always crushed.
Just shows that they're here to be found. Really hope we get a 3D one.
While you've been looking at this, I actually spotted a nodule over there which could contain a nice ammonite. So let's go and investigate. As well as the nodule, I also spotted a belemnite fossil, which is also preserved in the shale. It's just down here. You can see that it's been exposed for quite some time. It started to wear away so that you can see all of the calcification inside. But it's preserved all the way from the tip of the belemnite guard all the way until where it flares out towards the phragma cone.
Pretty good size, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a pretty nice one. There's always lots of fossils in the shale. You can see here, right alongside the belemnite, there's these elegantissous ammonites, which are completely crushed flat inside the shale. It often means that they can't be collected because they're really fragile, but they're still really nice to see.
We're finding a fair few bits so far already, aren't we?
We certainly are. And then the nodule that I spotted is just somewhere over here. I'll see if I can find it again. Ah yeah, it's just down here. So it looks like a nice rounded rock, which is why I thought it was quite suspicious. If I just pick it up, have a little look around, so you can see it's a nice pyritised nodule. It's quite weighty. And then, oh, there's actually an ammonite on the underside. Look at that. We've got a large ammonite here, which presumably is broken. And we've also got a much smaller ammonite alongside it, just here. I mean, that one looks pretty good just as is. I don't even think we should split that one.
We've already had some really nice finds. The ammonite that we've just found looks really exciting. Next up, we're heading into the workshop to have a look at some Ichthyosaur vertebrae, which our dad is preparing. We've shown these vertebrae previously, but we've now prepared them more than in one of our other latest videos. This stage of the process involves using air abrasives to very carefully, gradually remove tiny pieces of shale and limestone which still coat the remaining bones. Fractions of a millimetre at a time, we're gradually bringing this fossil back to life. We have to prepare each bone one at a time. This makes the process very time consuming. This is just one section of vertebrae from a much larger Ichthyosaur fossil. We can't wait to have the entire specimen fully prepared to be able to show you. Also coming up in this video, we have preparation of a pyritised gastropod fossil and more preparation on an Ichthyosaur flipper, which we started to prepare in our previous, most recent fossil hunting video. We're going to get back to the beach now and start having a look for some more incredible fossils. Hopefully we come across a specimen just like this on today's fossil hunt.
As you can see, there's lots and lots of nodules. Some of them have already been broken open. They've been on the beach for quite some time. There's actually another nodule just here which hasn't been split. Same again, this looks like a nice size and shape to contain something. Because these nodules are so robust, we need to split them open with a much bigger hammer. So I'll get my hammer out of my bag and we'll split this one open and see if there's anything inside. When we're splitting all of these limestone nodules, we always wear some safety glasses, just because it's not uncommon for shards to splinter off from the pieces of rock. So I'll put these on. Right. Okay, so let's see if we can find anything inside this rock.
Here we go.
Right, so we've got a clean split. But on this section, the nodule's been empty. So let's try further inside. You can see there a big splinter piece came off, which is why we wear the safety glasses. And the reason these nodules are so hard to break is because they're covered in this iron pyrite, which is almost like trying to split metal. And it actually looks like this nodule has been empty. So like with all of the shards, we always put them in a pile and cover them up with some rocks, just to ensure that the sharp edges are covered until the tide comes in and wears them down a little bit. So we'll just get some of these smoother pebbles. We can just cover that up and wait for the tide to come in and let the sea do its natural erosion. And this nodule will eventually just turn down into a small beach stone.
So we've definitely got these two nice finds that we're going to be taking home for certain. What do you reckon we'll do with the other ammonite then? Is this someone we'll open up now, or is this one we'll get prepared?
Let's have a look. I mean, this particular one, it's actually really, really close to the surface, so I think we could actually take that one home and prepare it, and it wouldn't take very long at all. But I did also pick up this one, which was just alongside that nodule that we split. And this one, because it's been in the beach system for quite some time, it's formed these natural little fractures, and I think this one should actually open rather easily. So if I get the smaller hammer and smaller chisel, I think we'll be able to split this one open. Should we give it a go?
Yes please, that sounds really good. Really impressed with what we found in just this very small section. I'm so excited to get further up the beach and see exactly what else is
I know we haven't
there.
moved very far at all yet. Oh, split open rather easily. Let's have a little look. Oh, nice. It's a beautiful little Ichthyosaur ammonite, and it's split perfect all the way to the centre. Because it's been in the sea for quite some time, it's eroded down into this small beach stone. So initially the ammonite would have been much larger, but what we have managed to save is rather beautiful.
It's quite a nice little size. It's probably one that we'll leave on the beach for someone else to come and find as they walk along.
Very nice. Let's see what else we can find further along the beach.
Let's head back into the workshop and have another look at those Ichthyosaur vertebrae, which we were preparing earlier in the video. By the end of this segment of preparation footage, we're going to see a completely prepared Ichthyosaur vertebra from this articulated specimen. It really is a labour of love, having such a time-consuming process expertly executed in preparing a fossil such as this. Our dad works tirelessly, removing all sorts of matrix from a whole variety of Jurassic fossils. This vertebra is almost completely prepared. In a moment we'll be blowing off the air abrasive powder and showing you this vertebrae in all of its glory. And there we have it. You can clearly see the difference between the unprepared and the fully prepared vertebras. Let's get back down onto the beach.
Just making our way further up the beach. We've pretty much explored all of that first section where we were lucky enough to find some really nice ammonites already. Further up, we're going to try and come across another patch of pebbles, maybe some larger boulders to have a look through, see if there's anything else a bit more unusual that we might be able to come across. Of course, we're going to be having a look in the prep shop as well to see what fossil our dad is working on at the moment. I've had a few nice finds lately, some nice marine reptile bones, and gradually, bit by bit, our dad is working on them to remove the limestone and the shale to bring lots of these fossils back to life. We really enjoy showing quite a lot of the process of having these fossils prepared and exposed. So if you like seeing the preparation footage in particular, let us know in the comments so we can try and focus on making more footage, making more videos of that type. Let us know as well if there's any particular fossils that you like to be seeing prepared. We can certainly try and make as much content as possible that people really want to watch. It's always a pleasure to share these fossils with lots of people around the world. So we're coming to more stones here. Nothing immediately is jumping out to me. There's bits of shale, bits of pyrite clusters, some large nodules which looks completely empty really. There's a piece down here with some pyritic shells. If we have a look at this, it's been a bit of a bigger limestone rock. It's got some nice golden shells though. So we'll leave that there. Then just having a bit more of a look around. It's one of those things where all of a sudden you could just find the best find of the year just right in front of your feet. You have no idea whatsoever of when these incredible finds are going to show up. It is only a matter of time before we find something really, really superb on one of our fossil hunts. There's a nodule here within some shale. Let's lift that up. Wondering if that's worth opening up.
It definitely looks like it's worth trying to split out, doesn't it?
Yeah. Let's get the safety glasses on and we'll chisel this out from the shale and open it up. Might have something inside, might not. There's only one way to find out. Let's set this down here. We'll get our tools and safety glasses, the tools of which are in Shay's bag.
Right, so let's get the tools out.
Just while he's doing that, I'm also going to have a little look around some more of the beach pebbles.
Right, I'm going to let you split this one out of the rock, Aaron. Here's the safety glasses.
Thank you. Some nice pyrite. Let's set it down and crack it open. I'm just going to place it down on the floor just here. Right, time to open it up. A few little bits of crushed shells. Because it's so small, it is quite difficult to open up this one. There's a bit more. Yeah, it's really tricky to get a good split on this rock.
I think this one's been checked enough. I don't think anything else is going to be inside this one. So we can probably just leave this one on the beach, and maybe in a few months, once it wears down a little bit more, someone will find it and investigate it again, and it might contain something.
We'll just collect up these sharp shards, make sure they're placed away from where anyone's going to be walking. The tide will be on its way in soon, and it'll very quickly, even in just a single tide, all of these sharp edges will be worn down. Let's head further up the beach and see what else there is to be found. We've got loads more beach to explore.
In this next visit to the workshop, we're going to be preparing a pyritic gastropod fossil. This is a very different fossil to prepare than the Ichthyosaur vertebrae, which we saw earlier in the video. This gastropod is tiny. We can already see some of the pyrite that's been naturally exposed by the sea. We're using the same tool as we did with the larger Ichthyosaur vertebrae because we are removing a very similar matrix from the fossil. Whilst the Ichthyosaur vertebrae have already taken many hours to get to its current state of preparation, this much smaller fossil is almost prepared within a matter of minutes. We're going to see the finished result any second now. This is a really nice aesthetically pleasing golden pyritic gastropod. We haven't seen many with this pyritic shine, so we are incredibly pleased with this gastropod fossil. In the next segment of preparation footage, we'll be seeing the Ichthyosaur paddle.
Aaron's just going off ahead to see what he can find further up along the beach amongst the pebbles. Just letting him get ahead because I always tend to go ahead and find things first, so I'm giving him a better chance of finding some bits. Like with most collectors though, everybody looks differently and not everyone will spot the same things. So it's really nice to see what each individual person can find. Just having a slow look through these stones. Lots and lots of sandstone and lots of shale in between them.
There's some huge fresh shale blocks right here. You can see where they've just tumbled out from the cliff really high up. A few tons of shale.
Oh, you can even see a nice impression on one of these slabs that's just come out of the cliff. Got some lovely detail, but of course because they're sort of crushed, you can't really do anything with them. See, there's some bivalve shells crushed in there as well. And another ammonite. Even in the shale beds just here, there's even more elegantissous ammonites with some lovely fool's gold.
We're coming up now to quite a few more pretty large lumps of sandstone. You can see right at the top of the cliff where there's loads and loads of sandstone, and over many, many years there's been loads of these big boulders that have made their way onto the beach and formed most of the coastline here. The sandstone is really, really sturdy. These have been here, I wonder how many years, it's hard to tell.
There's actually a slab of shale here which is covered with bivalve shells. They're really crushed, but some of them have some lovely detail on them. I always wonder how long they're going to last once the sea reaches the tide line and starts to break them down.
There's quite a few compressed ammonites just over here as well. Doesn't look like too much else. I mean, this layer of shale over the top of the ammonites,
Oh wow.
it's almost about to come up on its own accord due to the natural erosion of the sea. So we could actually pop our hammer and chisel just into this little edge.
I think we should.
Reveal quite a few of the ammonites nice and fresh for you right now, so you can see what they look like as soon as they're
You
exposed.
can see they're continuing along this cross section here. There's definitely going to be more ammonites underneath.
This should look really nice.
Right, have you got the safety glasses?
Yes.
Thank you. You can see where the ammonites continue on this edge, but on this side I can't see any ammonites, so this is where I'm going to place the chisel, just so we're not breaking any of the specimens which could be hidden underneath. I'm just going to start with some very gentle taps just to see if I can let the vibrations naturally flow through the slab and lift the full layer off. Got a nice section. Let's have a little look. Oh wow, look at all those. That's incredible. Some lovely golden ones down here as well. There's literally hundreds of them.
Just going to get a few close-ups of these so you can truly appreciate them.
We've been really fortunate as well because as we've split this slab, all of the ammonites have actually stayed on one side. So this piece that I've got in my hand only contains the impressions. None of the actual ammonites are on this slab. Hence why there's no colour on this side, whereas on the other side, because the shells stuck onto the ammonites, you can see them much more clearly. I'll just let Aaron get some more close-ups and then we'll try and reveal some more ammonites. We've actually split slabs open with these particular ammonites in before, and one of them actually had an Ichthyosaur tooth amongst them.
Let's hope there's something similar hidden under here. There we go.
There we are. Whoa. It's incredible. Let's try and get this last little bit off as well now. Wow.
All different shapes and sizes, isn't they?
Yeah, this particular species of ammonite, they don't really grow very large, but you can see here that there's some nicely sized specimens. It's really nice for people to come down onto the beach hunting for fossils to see things like this. Amazing.
We're back in the workshop now, preparing some of the Ichthyosaur paddle. In our most recent fossil hunting video, we saw the first couple of paddle digits being prepared. We've now spent much more time, and there are so many bones that are now almost fully uncovered. Here's a look at some of the air abrasive process. Very carefully removing microscopic particles of shale at a time. Look how stunning those bones are. Perfectly preserved, three-dimensional Ichthyosaur paddle digits. Using a different tool, we are able to remove bigger pieces of shale at a time. Even still, we're very careful not to get too close to the bones to ensure that we don't damage them. Because the paddle is fully articulated, it's quite straightforward to follow the pattern of the bones and remove the shale carefully. Just when we think we've exposed all the bones that are preserved, a little piece of shale moves away, and there are even more bones underneath. This is truly shaping up to be one of our best ever Ichthyosaur paddle finds. We'll be looking more at the preparation process once we've been down and done some more fossil hunting.
Just been walking along the shale beds here, and I've spotted an absolutely huge elegantitious ammonite. It's not all there, a lot of it has broken away naturally, but you can see that it's actually been immense. The mouth borders come out all the way up until this point here. A lot of the ammonite itself has broken away. You can see that it's been absolutely huge.
It's by far one of the biggest we've ever seen.
We actually have a prepared example of one of these that's also been shale preserved. There's a nodule here with some more Dinosaurs ammonites preserved on the surface. Can't really see what they are, they haven't preserved very well. They're all crushed on top of each other. So we can leave this here. I don't think it's worth investigating further.
There's also quite a few fresh bits of shale and nodule just at the foot of the cliff, but of course it's too dangerous to get right up close. You never know when the next piece of rock is going to fall. You've got to be extremely careful whenever you're approaching anything such as a cliff where pieces can fall. at random. Partial ammonite there, quite calcified. There's also a nodule right next to it. Someone else has already opened up. There really is just so many pebbles everywhere.
Oh, there's a nice little ammonite down here which we can split open.
Oh, let's have a look.
Just been searching in amongst these pebbles here. As you can see, there's tons and tons to look through. But in amongst them all, you can see that on one side the ammonite's almost
Really
fully
nice.
revealed. You can see here there's a really nice groove where we'll be able to set the chisel into place and fully reveal the ammonite. I also just picked up another small beach worn one just here as well. So it just goes to show that they're not always in really big nodules, they can just be really quite obvious and just laid on the beach ready to pick up. It's not uncommon as well to look through these smaller pebbles and actually see belemnite fossils as well. So I'll keep my eye out, and if I spot one, I'll come and show you.
There's a really worn ammonite impression just there. Must have been out in the sea for quite some time. It's got evidence of some modern day sea creatures that have burrowed their way inside of the fossil.
Do you fancy doing a spot the fossil?
Yeah.
Right, I found a couple of ammonite nodules, and they are in. Let's see if I can re-find them for you. Okay, so they're just in this section here.
Okay.
There are 2 ammonites to find, and on both of them I can quite clearly see the edges of the ammonites.
I'm trying to look now myself to see if I can see them. I can definitely see one of them.
Okay, so yeah, so we'll do this one first. So if you move the camera a little bit closer, hopefully if you haven't spotted it yet, you'll be able to see it now. Okay, it's this nodule just here. So you can see the outer edge of the ammonite protruding the rock. You can also see here where the ammonite is completely preserved in calcite. So someone may have already tried to split this ammonite open, but because it's been really calcified, it hasn't wanted to split as nicely as some of the other ammonites do. But we'll certainly try again and see if we can get anything out of it.
Yeah.
And then the other one, if you just lift the camera back up.
I've spotted this one. See if you can spot the fossil. Let's get a little bit closer.
It's actually just here. It's another lovely Ichthyosaur ammonite. You can see here I've got a handful of quite a few ammonites already. Let's have a little look and see if we can find a few more. Then we'll see if we can split any of them open. Right, I've spotted another one straight away.
Okay, I've just spotted something here as well. The fossil I've spotted is more so a nodule with quite a few impressions just on the top. So there won't be anything three-dimensional within this one. Let's have a look at yours.
And it's a little bit more 3D. See there some of the calcite chambers which have been exposed on this ammonite. See, it's been quite a nice sized one. It's definitely one that we'll be able to try and reveal the other side.
The preparation on this paddle is going really well so far. We've managed to remove much of the shale from almost all of the paddle digits. We just have some more of the really tiny bones left to start uncovering. One of the paddle digits had a slight bit of damage as we were preparing it. Probably because the bone had a natural fracture. After we've been back down to the beach, we're going to be having a look at how we repair some of these fossil bones, if any of them need restoring. It's really exciting seeing these fossils come back to life. You can see now some of the really tiny paddle bones gradually emerging from the shale. We can't wait to see the entire fossil in all of its glory. Hopefully every single bone is preserved, but it's always possible that during fossilisation a few of the bones became crushed, or perhaps it was predated prior to being fossilised. But so far so good. It looks like the majority of the bones are likely to all be preserved, and not only that, but all in place. After we've been down to the beach, we're then going to head back into the workshop one final time on today's fossil hunting episode.
It's bound to be something else, a bit more out the ordinary. It's just a matter of whether or not we can find it. Oh. Been a big nodule right here. Oh, it's not been opened yet. Just found a nice big nodule over here.
Oh, nice.
Thought someone might have already opened it, but it's literally just waiting for us to
Oh, it's a nice
tap it
size and
open.
shape, isn't it?
Yeah. Brilliant. So we'll have to definitely open this nodule.
I've just picked up this here. It's quite hard to tell what it is just on the surface, but there's actually some belemnite fossils. And the belemnites, which are fossilised squids, have washed amongst these shell fossils. So you've got a block here filled with lots and lots of shells, and there's some belemnites mixed in amongst them. Leave that one on a rock for someone else to enjoy.
I can see something a bit more unusual just down there. What's that?
Let's have a look. Looks like a big bit of fossilised wood to me. And it's preserved in lots of this iron pyrite, just giving it this lovely golden appearance. You can see on cross section there the individual rings.
Nice big piece of fossilised wood.
It's got a lovely texture to it. Awesome.
Such a beautiful day today. Really glad that we've come out and been having a look around.
There's a nice looking nodule just down here. I'm not entirely sure whether it's all there or not. If you just look in the sand,
Ah, yes.
looks like a similar size to the one that you've just picked up. Someone has already tried to split it. But you can see there's still quite a lot of rock to check. So I think we'll use our big hammer and we'll see if there's anything else hidden deeper within the rock.
Absolutely. So we've got a fair bit now to open up.
In amongst the shale, we've just spotted this block which contains some ammonites on its surface, but if we look deeper within on the cross section, you can see there's lots and lots of potential ammonite fossils. If I rotate this round, you can see there's lots of calcification. And if I keep rotating, you can see there's some lovely calcified ammonites. There's some lovely suture patterns on this one here. So I'll set this alongside the other rocks that we've already collected, and then towards the end of the video we'll split it open and see what's hidden within. I'm excited to see if there's anything in this one.
Me too. Let's get them all placed down on this rock. See all the fossils that we've got to open up, all the potential fossils that we've got to open up. Just noticed here this pretty cool boulder which has been naturally hollowed out by the sea. It's got a little rock that's been trapped underneath it too. Well, two rocks trapped underneath. One of them looks like a piece of sandstone, as does the other. A few sea creatures that have made their way underneath it too.
Before we split open these nodules, we're actually going to head over to this big fall over here. We've had quite a few rough seas recently, so we're going to see if we can try our luck and see what's in amongst these much larger boulders over here.
Sounds like a plan. Let's get hunting.
The tide is now on its way in, so I'm going to head to the furthest point where I want to go, and then I will slowly make my way back. And that way I'm coming back to where I need to be with the tide, just to ensure that I'm not having to rush too much trying to chase the sea. Down in amongst the stones I've spotted a partial ammonite fossil. You can see that part of the ammonite has broken away, but potentially, even if we reveal each side, it could still be quite a nice specimen. So I'll keep hold of this one. We'll keep searching to see if we can find anything more complete or something completely different. You can see that the cliffs are quite immense. They are really tall, so it's always worth being aware that they are very dangerous. It's not worth getting too close because stuff does fall regularly. It's always worth being aware of the tide times and of the area. If you're not a local, it's always worth asking for some advice, just to ensure that you're not risking being cut off by the tide. Oh, it's a nice ammonite just down here. Looks like a nice complete nodule. You've got the mouth border, which has started to crush slightly here. Then a more perfect example, deeper within the rock. There's even a cute little bivalve shell rested alongside it as well. So that's definitely one to take back to the bag. See here, there's another nodule. It looks like someone's already broken this one open. And was there anything inside? There had been an ammonite inside. It looks like it's been right in the centre of the rock as well, so there was no way of knowing that that was in there. And unfortunately on this occasion it's broken, which is just the way it goes sometimes. They can't all be perfect, and that's what makes it much more special when you do find a fossil that does split open well. Similar to the stone we just picked up, there's another ammonite here which has also been really heavily calcified. I wouldn't actually be surprised if with a bit of wet and dry sandpaper you could get that quite smooth and it'd actually look quite nice. It looks quite rugged now just because it's got some small sharper edges from being tumbled in the sea. We'll leave that one on a rock and someone else might enjoy finding that one.
Let's head back into the workshop one more time on today's fossil hunting video. Here we'll see more of the paddle being prepared. Gently blowing away a lot of the air abrasive dust, we can see a bird's eye view of this Ichthyosaur paddle. As we mentioned before, one of the bones wasn't fully preserved or perhaps had a natural fracture, and a little piece of the bone blew away during the preparation process. We're now going to start restoring this individual bone. So far so good. It looks like we're managing to achieve the original shape of the bone. Of course, there are still many more steps to making the bone appear like it was fully intact. It won't be long until this fossil is fully finished.
I'm just searching through some of the smaller beach pebbles and some of the shingle now. Just having a little look, seeing if I can find any loose nodules or anything that's small enough just to fit in my pocket. And there's actually a fossil shell just down here, so I'll show you this now. See, it's a lovely pyritised one. There's actually quite a few on this rock. So the nodule itself has been pyritised, and on the surface you've got these lovely golden bivalve shells. They're always really nice to see. Not something that we keep usually. I can leave that one here. There's another potential nodule here, but it looks like it's already been split. It's a nice ammonite imprint. Still nice to see. Another one that we can leave for someone else. Whoop. It's nice ammonite just down there. Oh, that's a lovely example. That's definitely a keeper. Really pleased with that one. I've just picked up this ammonite, and then in the distance I've spotted another nodule which could also contain a fossil. So let's go and have a look at it. So I was just walking along this shale bed here. You can see that there's a nice grey rock. Is there anything inside? See, there's a nice natural fracture actually, just running right through the centre of the rock. You can see there's actually an ammonite mouth border just there, so there's definitely a fossil inside. And then, oh wow, yeah, you can actually see the rest of the ammonite within the limestone rock itself. So that's definitely one that we will try and split open on the beach, because there's these natural fractures here. It could actually open quite nicely. I'm just heading back around the corner now to meet up with Aaron. I'm going to search the landslide as I make my way along. Like we found earlier, there's a small pyritic nodule with some fossil shells on the surface. There's also some on the reverse side as well. So another nodule here, I can see a little ammonite edge. But on this occasion, this one hasn't been fully preserved. You can see there the ammonite itself is partially preserved on some of the outer whorls, but further within, it's completely crushed. Oh, spotted another little ammonite. Can you see it? I made it quite easy, this one. It's actually right in the centre of the camera, so it's just here. Is it all there? Yeah, it looks like it should be. See some of the calcite on some of the outer chambers, but the inner whorl looks like it's nicely intact. So we can split this one open with the hammer and chisel, and it should actually come out quite nice. And then as I was putting this one into my pocket, I spotted something which isn't an ammonite. So I'll do another spot the fossil. So it's not an ammonite, so you're not looking for a nodule. What you're actually looking for in this one is a belemnite fossil. So you're looking for something that looks a little bit like a bullet. It's long and cylindrical in shape and has a sharp tip. Give you a few seconds and then I'll make the area a little bit smaller. Okay. The area's a little bit smaller now. See if you can spot it. It's actually quite a nice size one for a belemnite, especially considering it's just loose in amongst the shingle. Okay, it's actually just here. So you've got a lovely belemnite guard, which is almost like the structural support of a squid from 180 million years ago. Lovely. It's always nice when you find them with the tip still intact, because of course they're the most fragile bits, so usually they break off. So far we've seen Elegantissirus ammonites, Tiltonocerus ammonites, Dactyliosaurus, got a belemnite, potentially some gracile ammonites in that block filled with lots of ammonites inside. So we've had a nice variety, especially of ammonite species, but hopefully we can find a few other things as well. We've had the crushed shells and some of the pyritised shells as well on top of the pyrite nodules. Is this a fossil? It looks like it's an ammonite. It looks like it's a type of ammonite called a Ichthyosaur. But is it all going to be there? It's been buried in the shingle, which is probably why no one's spotted it already. Oh wow! Oh yes! And it is all in there. Beauty! Oh, I'm really pleased with that. Just saying we needed to find something different, and then this was just laid there. I actually walked past it on the way to get around the corner as well. So it just goes to show, slightly different angle, and you can spot something completely different that you otherwise wouldn't have seen. Awesome, I can't wait to show Aaron that and see his reaction. I'm just on my way back now to meet up with Aaron, after finding this beautiful Ichthyosaur ammonite, which is going to look unbelievable once it's cleaned up. It's most likely going to be all the way to the centre, they usually are. Just another little chunk of fossilised wood, which I've also found as well. You can see there it's got some iron pyrite on the outer surface. Looks pretty nice. Oh, there's nodules. There's nodules everywhere. I just picked up this one. It's got an ammonite just on the edge. There's a lump of shale here with a partial belemnite on it. It looks like this is part of the phragma cone. And then there's also another partial ammonite. So it just goes to show that if you go into the right locations, there are just fossils absolutely everywhere. I was just investigating this nodule to see if it could have had anything inside, but it looks too much of an irregular shape. While I was searching through this area, spotted an ammonite just under here. But on this occasion, it looks like it's just a partial one. You can see there it would have continued round this way, but unfortunately it hasn't all preserved, so we can leave that one. Another perfect ammonite, just waiting to be picked up. Wow. Lovely. Another one for the bag. Oh, almost walked past this one. Another perfect nodule with another perfect ammonite inside. God, I've got so many nodules in my pockets now. You know, it kind of looks like I've been in the tavern for a week or two. Absolutely filled with nodules. It's crazy how many there have been just in this small area. So I'm going to keep on searching and see if there's anything else that I've missed. We've got a patch of shingle here which I didn't check on the way. We've got a limestone nodule which has an ammonite inside as well. Couldn't even see that one. And it's got another Ichthyosaur ammonite inside. Similar to one of the ammonites that we found earlier in the video, where I had a small piece of ammonite missing. This one also has that same exact piece missing, which leads us to believe that it's almost certainly going to be some sort of predation, where a crustacean's come along and eaten its way into the shell. And there was also this nodule that caught my eye, but it looks like this one's been split and it's been empty. You know, nice round shape, but unfortunately nothing was inside this one. Spotted something in the distance which isn't an ammonite, but it's really eroded. It's actually a 3D shell which is preserved. You can see here, this is where the clasp would have been, and then it would have actually opened along this edge here. It's been in the beach system for so long that it's just worn down into this almost unrecognisable stone. It's just unbelievable. I mean, everywhere you look, it's just another ammonite. Here's one. Should be quite nice in there. There's also another nodule which I spotted just down here. It's nice rounded grey rock. Let's have a look. Can't see anything around the edge, but it's the perfect size and shape. So again, it's another one which we will take back to the bag and use the tools to break open. Hey, I've got something to show you.
What have you found?
Got a pretty
wow.
nice Ichthyosaur ammonite. That's nice, isn't it?
That's incredible, yeah.
Look at the size of that.
That is so good. That's the biggest complete ammonite we've had today. I love it. What are we doing with this one? Are we going to split it open or are we prepping it?
I'm not entirely sure. Maybe after we've split a few nodules, we could actually get the other side of this off.
Yeah.
But we'll see if we're daring enough once we've split open some of the other fossils.
I really like that. Well done. Is that the best thing that you found over there?
Yeah, I've got plenty of ammonites. I've got a pocket full of nodules here.
Okay, let's have a look.
We'll split some open.
Yeah. Got that large nodule I found earlier.
Can't wait to split some of those open.
Yeah.
Let's get cracking.
We've laid out all the fossils on this large sandstone boulder now. Some of them we're going to be taking home as they are. Some of them we're going to be opening up. Let's start with the big green nodule, which we found.
Who's going to split this one then?
I'll give this one a split.
Okay. We've both got our safety glasses on and ready to go.
What do you reckon? Is it going to be empty or have something inside?
I think it's going to be empty.
Okay.
Right.
Right.
Perfect split.
Got a nice split on it. Here goes.
Oh.
Well, you were right. It was empty.
Let's go with this other nodule which we collected, which someone's already tried to split open, but they weren't very successful with it. See there, a small piece has come off and there's been nothing inside that one.
Right, I'll put that just behind us with the other pieces that
go.
we've just opened up.
This looks like it should open quite well, shouldn't it?
Yeah.
Right, so I'll just hold this for you, Aaron, and then if you just place the chisel there. There we are.
Moment of truth.
Hey!
Yeah. Nice.
Lovely. There's actually some really small spikes within the ammonite itself and just on this outer edge. So it's another species which we didn't find until just now. Just tape this one open and just ensures that the fossil itself is nicely protected while it's in our bag.
I'm going to open this one up next.
You can see there the limestone's not very forgiving with this one. It actually looks like it's quite tough, isn't it? This one, however, I reckon is going to open quite easily. So this one here, it's got a lovely groove to be able to set the chisel into place. So this one should open really easy. You see there, the outer edge is actually broken off. You can see that it's revealed a more perfect middle of the ammonite. So this outer whorl, it's been slightly eroded, but if we can get a nice centre out of it, it'll still be worth trying to save. There we are. Just open that up.
Oh,
Lovely. You can actually see where this section broke off when we tried to split it. The ammonite itself on the underside must have been slightly crushed or not preserved at all. As you can see on this side, there isn't actually any ammonite shell there. It's just a limestone rock which has infilled part of the ammonite itself. You can also see towards the centre of the Ichthyosaur here, the middle hasn't preserved all of the way. So the ammonite during the preservation process was perhaps not perfect or it had been crushed. So I've set aside these two ammonites here which should open all right. I've got another 2 perfect ones just here, but we're going to take these ones as they are, just because the nodules themselves are quite thin and the ammonites are quite perfect. So we don't want to risk breaking these ones, so we can take them home.
We'll open this one next. Do you want to open this one?
Sure. Do you want to hold it for me? So we can see here on the cross section it has slightly broken. I'm just going to break along one side. There we are.
Whoa!
And the rest of the ammonite that was there has actually opened reasonably well, hasn't it?
Yeah, and this one as well. Looks like it should open.
There we are. I liked the sound of that split. Do you want to open it up, Aaron?
So hopefully we've got another nice ammonite specimen.
Oh, there we go.
And we do.
That's what we're talking about. That's a nice one. Now this one has split perfect all the way to the centre, hasn't it?
Yeah. It's a real quality example. Really, really happy with this.
I think we should investigate this gracile block now
Okay.
and see what's inside here.
Seems like it's all ammonites today, apart from the odd belemnite squid fossil.
Because there's so many ammonites in this, there isn't one particular bedding plane, so it's very hit and miss as to whether it's going to split open well. Right, so we've got a bit of limestone which is broken from the edge, which didn't look like it had anything on.
That looks more promising.
Certainly did. If you actually look down here, you've got some impressions, and the actual ammonites themselves have broken completely free. So you've got a lovely pyritised ammonite here, with another ammonite with some calcification, which you can see has already been partially exposed. Got this lovely golden ammonite here, and another partial golden one, which was also exposed on the outer edge. We'll set these ones to one side. There we go, that's a better split. Let's see if there's anything nice inside.
Whoa.
Oh wow!
Gosh.
So you can see there's some lovely gracile ammonites here. There's a lovely brown shelled ammonite alongside some bivalve shells. And there's another ammonite just showing here. And another one just under there. So you can see there's quite a few ammonites in here. There's another one just hiding under there as well. So it might actually be worth just taking this piece home and be able to investigate further with the pen and see if we can find more ammonites inside. Awesome. Definitely another one to take home.
So is that all the ammonites that we're going to be opening today?
I think we should actually try and get the other side off this. And what I've actually done is lifted out my spare hat, and that just ensures that when we're going to split it, it's got a nice bit of cushioning. Can you just hold that there for me, please? Thank you.
This is exciting, but also really nerve-wracking.
Just going to do some really gentle taps. Yeah, usually because these ammonites are so smooth, they usually open really easy. We've done a few taps here and it hasn't wanted to give way, so we'll take it home now, just because we don't want to risk actually breaking it, and that'll ensure that it's left perfect.
I think that seems a good option. As exciting as it would be to continue trying to open it now, there's always that risk that it breaks the fossil. So given that the nodule is a lot more sturdy than we initially thought, it's definitely the best option to take this home now.
Right, so we've got these last few nodules here. This is our keep pile. This is the stuff that we're going to take home as it is. So we'll explore these last few nodules, and then we're going to make our way off the beach, because the tide started to come in quite quickly now, just to ensure that we can get up nice and safe. So let's crack these last few nodules open. And there is. So there's another perinoceros ammonite in here. You can see that it's got some nodes on there, small spikes. And this is definitely one that's worth taking home now that we've revealed that there is something inside.
Looks a really high quality ammonite.
Now for the last one. I'm pretty sure this is going to be another calcified one. The nodule itself is really pyritic, so it's going to be quite tough. And as you can see, not all of the ammonite is actually preserved at all. It was worth checking. You can see there's lots of iron pyrite, where the nodule itself is coated in fool's gold. Not a keeper, but one that we can leave for someone else to find. Now that we've checked all of those nodules, we're going to retrieve all of the pieces that have broken off that we don't want, and we are just going to bury those in the shingle just over here. The tide's almost in, so this is almost definitely going to be completely washed out by the sea. But until then, we can just cover it up like that. We can let the sea naturally just wear those rocks down, and they'll just eventually look like beach shingle, just like what we're covering them up with. Awesome, so I think we've done pretty well today.
I'm really pleased with all the fossils that we've found.
We've had such a variety of ammonites on the fossilised wood and the bivalve shells as well. I mean, it's been incredible.
Yeah, I think we've come away with a lot more fossils and a lot better quality than we expected.
It's been great.
It's been worth coming out for sure, yeah.
Definitely.
The tide's almost in, as you can see. We'd have loved to stay a little bit longer, but on this occasion, it's time to go home. Thanks for watching.
And we'll see you in the next one.